there, Van Cleve fans. This is Joe Van Cleve. I'm glad you could show up here today. Actually, you're not really here. I'm in my office and I don't see you. This camera does not have an external mic jack, so you're picking me up from the microphones that are situated like up here on top of the lens by the flash hot shoe, right in front of the hot shoe. I have some marinara sauce cooking on the stove. It really smells great. I'm sorry we don't have smell-o-vision. And I'm doing this vlog for no reason except to say that I took my Brother EP20 thermal typewriter out to the cigar store today and did some lap typing with a roll of fax paper. Had a good time, got some insights into using it, and I think it's going to be really cool to use. I also got an insight on how to archive the little thermal sheets that I do print out. Okay, now regarding printing the writings on this 8.5-inch wide roll of thermal fax paper, I was thinking earlier about how am I going to archive this stuff, because you may not be aware, but I try to archive all my writings, my typings and everything in 3-ring binders, and so everything gets hole punched usually. And so this is kind of a little thing that I wrote for myself up at the cigar store today, and it was only like, so it's 8.5 inches wide, and it was only like this long. So you could hole punch it in a 3-ring hole puncher, but of course it's too short to get the third hole, so you can at least bind it on 2 holes, but you don't know how long of a piece you're going to have. You know, you could be typing for 3 feet of scroll, right? And so that's impractical to store in your notebook that way. But I think the solution is to hole punch it on the end, the width of the paper. And in this case, I've actually hole punched the bottom, but you could also hole punch the beginning of it. Either way, it would go in the notebook sideways like this, and if you have 3 feet of scroll, you simply fan fold it into the width of your notebook so it doesn't hang out. So then you can have these long scrolls of paper hole punched, bound in a binder, and then fan folded so they're nice and organized, and then you could still just pull them out to read them. I think that's going to be the good solution there for not only thermal paper in a roll form, but just regular roll paper that I use in my normal non-thermal inky typewriters. So in my recent video that I did about the Brother EP20 thermal typewriter, this is Ted Monk's EP20 that I typed on, and this is his Canon Typestar 4. I wanted to just point out that the Canon Typestar 4 thermal typewriter has variable fonts, various fonts, style and size, so it's a lot more writerly, if you will. That's a certain attribute of it that's better than the little Brother typewriter. But again, there are certain attributes about the Brother, namely the size and weight and how quiet it is, that might be better than the Canon. But anyway, the Canon Typestars do offer variable fonts in sizes and styles. So I got this little notepad of paper at the Hamptons Hotel in Mesa, Arizona, but I thought it was cool. It said ThoughtPad. Reminds me of the ThinkPad computers. Hey, this is a ThoughtPad, and you can stick it in a typewriter, so that's kind of cool, huh? I have this picture that I took today. I went to a indoor flea market that I've never been to before, up on East Central Avenue here in Albuquerque, and what is this? This is a Underwood Model 5, and it's a fairly modern version, and it has a #1 key and all that. So anyways, they're asking $69. I didn't actually check it out. I don't know if it's any good, but I want to kind of crowdsource your opinion here. What do you guys think of that typewriter? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you. Okay, so I went to my favorite thrift store in Albuquerque today, which is Orphans Exchange Thrift Store. It's a non-profit, and they have really good prices. They have like tags on all the units, and everything is 50% off right now. So I found this little Radio Shack, a cassette player recorder. It's a CTR 76, and the tag said $10, therefore half of $10 is $5, which is what I paid. But I wanted, before I bought it, I wanted to check it out, see if it worked. And I was afraid I was going to have to go get some batteries myself. But hey, they actually had new Duracell batteries in here. And they went over to one of the booths and got a tape for me so I could actually check it out. And the thing does work. So I have a cassette in here that Ted Monk gave me that was actually an Andrew Womack Ministries tape. But recorded over it is what's called space music. And this is from off-the-air recording from maybe years ago that So it sits up, it has these little feet on the bottom, so it'll sit up like this on a table, speaker facing you, cassette facing you, tape counter facing you. The buttons are all on top but oriented so you can read them from this side. And then it has a external mic jack, a remote start-stop, a earphone, headphone out. There's an external 6-volt input, and it also has voice-operated recording, so there is a built-in microphone, and of course external microphone as well. The built-in microphone doesn't really sound all that good. You get a lot of the plasticky noise, but it has, interestingly enough, it has a separate race head that articulates into position when you hit the record button. It's actually kind of cool. This machine is made in Thailand. I'm not sure what parent company or what OEM made it for Radio Shack. It's a decent little unit, and I like the form factor. Kind of a tabletop little cassette player with a little speaker. Kind of cool. $5. Huh. Now some boring stuff about video and etc., etc. So let's talk about microphones. So I've been using once in a while this AKG. This is a dynamic microphone, a pretty good quality microphone for the money. It has XLR cable coming out of it, right? XLR. And I have it popped into this camera-mounted Saramonic 2 microphone mixer, and it outputs on a 3.5mm stereo jack, so you can pop it into your camera if it has a mic jack. So that's what I've been using a lot of times. And this AKG has this real heavy metal bass that I've been using. This was a Radio Shack bass I've had for a long time, but the problem I have with this bass is if I have it on my video table and I'm typing, like a typewriter video, if the typewriter touches this heavy cast iron bass, it makes this loud rumbling noise in the microphone, and so I need to do a little bit better about soundproofing, like a piece of foam or something, to keep this isolated. That's been a source of constant problems lately in my videos. So the last video I did about the Brother EP20 thermal typewriter, instead of using that microphone, I'm using this Shure lens hopper. This is a video microphone that mounts on the hot shoe of a camera, but the hot shoe mount on this particular microphone also has a 1/4-20, so I'm using this little flexible tripod that came with one of my accessories. So this sits on the table. The problem is it has a short little cord, so what you use is you use one of these 3-foot extension cords. This is a stereo 3.5mm. It goes from female on this side with an angled elbow connector so you can pop it into your camera. So that makes a nice little tabletop microphone. It's not as classy looking as Johnny Carson's microphone on The Tonight Show, but anyways, that's microphone stuff. Another video related thing, if you're using a Panasonic Lumix Micro Four Thirds camera and you're worried about focus, especially when you're not close to the camera, you're doing vlogging or selfie videos, this is one of the most important things you can have. This is the DMW RSL1. This is a remote control for the camera. It's wired, and it basically pops into the little wired remote jack on your camera. And this gives you not only the ability to start and stop your videos, but you can half press it and do focusing if your camera is enabled to shoot a video from the shutter button, that is. So the GH series cameras you can certainly use this with. And then I have this video diary or video journal, and it basically is one of these Circa Levenger type bound books, and all my videos that I've done in chronological order are all listed in here, and it's just simple notes about the title, the date, the length, what kind of camera, lens, microphones, and stuff like that I'm using. So that's how kind of I keep track of my videos. And then the pens I've been using lately, let's talk about that, shall we? Well, first there's a Bic Crystal Blue in the standard medium point, what is it, the 1mm, and this is a new one that I just started recently, and I have a little piece of tape on it with a date. So that's been going on my little paper roll holder. And secondly is my Tech Accessories coaxial rail pen, which I featured in a recent video. I've been using that to write in my video journal. And I also use a TWSBI Diamond 580 fountain pen. This has been my go-to fountain pen for a long time. I just love this thing. It has a reservoir, it holds a bunch of ink, and I use blue-black Parker Quink fountain pen ink. I love it. And also for mechanical pencils, of course, my recently acquired Rotring 600 mechanical pencil in 0.7 millimeter HB lead. That's what I'm currently using. Nice heavy brass, a lovely pencil. Love this. And one other thing is I recently acquired a date stamp, a cheap little date stamp from Staples or whatever, and I love using this to stamp my little roll paper note holder, so I have the dates on everything. Another little thing I wanted to talk about is, so there is an upcoming typing assignment. It's typing assignment 20 that's going to be due at the end of 2018, the end of December of 2018, and it is on the subject matter of pet peeves. And I've already received one entry for that assignment, and it wasn't received via an email link. It was actually a postal typewritten piece, and what's great about it is the entrant, who you'll see when I do the video on this later, but he took one of these envelopes that is a return mailer envelope. When you get like junk mail or bills or whatever, they oftentimes give you a return envelope that's prepaid. He took the return envelope, he put his own stamps across the prepaid barcode thingy, and then he slit open the envelope to make a kind of a whole page on the inside, and he typed his story, his piece, on the inside of the envelope, and with my return address sticker already in place, so he just typed around it. And then he simply takes the envelope, closes it up, and tapes the envelope shut, and mails it. So the letter, the typewritten piece, is on the inside of the envelope, and so there's no extra piece of paper in there. It's a really cool idea. I thought that was very original, and I'm going to have to try that myself. And so that reminds me, speaking of typing assignment 20, don't forget typing assignment 20 is due by the end of the year, and the subject matter is pet peeves. Type a one-page sheet, scan or photograph it, put the link to that image, a publicly available image. Give me the link down in the description of that video about typing assignment 20 that's already been published, and then I will take those links and make a slideshow presentation on the results video. And also, if you want, you can email me the image or the link to the image at jvcabacus@yahoo.com, and also you can mail it to me if you want. Email me, I'll give you my postal address. So this is kind of a rambling vlog style video, and I don't do too many vlogs. I know there's a number of vlogs that I follow where the presenter is rather humorous, and I don't pretend to be humorous, but I'm just trying to be my normal personality, make it slightly more outgoing than if I was with a stranger. I'm kind of pretending like I'm with people that I really know well, so I can kind of loosen up a little bit. So if my goofiness offends you, I'm sorry, but that's just trying to be more personable. Anyways, this is a vlog update from Joe Van Cleve. Lumix, oops, sorry. Let's do that right there.